Yeah, 49ers just get to punch guys without any ramifications. 888. Oh, no, I didn't need to give the number. Willard and Dibs in the house. Hey, gents. What's up?
You see the pool report afterward? Matt Barrows interviewing the VP of officials discussing why Trent Williams was not ejected.
Because they couldn't tell?
They could not, with 100% certainty, determine whether or not that was a punch or not from Trent Williams.
There was a punch.
I think that it was a punch, but okay. I don't know. I mean, do you have to have all four fingers and the thumb in a certain formation for it to be a punch?
Yeah, it was kind of a...
I know.
It was
didn't deserve it.
It was almost kind of like, you know how the difference between the sign for holding and illegal use of hands?
Yeah.
Right, the open hand? Sure. I felt like he kind of did the illegal use of hands thing. Like there was a little bit of a jab. Don't. You're going to have to turn your mic on there, Gil. There you go.
Thank you, Dibs.
Drew's been struggling a little bit today.
Please.
He's a veteran.
Willard, what's on your thumb, bud? You okay?
One for the thumb.
Yeah, I wanted to be an emoji today. So I have a yellow wrap on the hand. No, this is what happens when you cut yourself cooking.
Shaving.
But then you're also at someone's home who's used to taking care of other people. And so, like, I do not have yellow gauze at my house. I would have just wrapped 17 Band-Aids on it and had it be all ugly and misshapen.
Is it a deep cut?
But no, it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. I cut myself. It's no big deal. Yeah.
Dibs, Willard playing injured.
Yeah, boy. Heroic.
I thought about taking the day off, but, the Niners played last night, so we got to be here today.
I think all three of us were in the house.
Yeah.
Where were you? Where'd you say?
225. I found out Bonte was at 227, but it's a football game. That's why we didn't see each other. But sun comes up, Niners score 30 with their B minus whatever game you want to call it.
I don't know about what grade you would give the entire team, but the defense, they get an A again. Yeah. And in the second half, and I just did my rewatch here. I got in about 10:15 and locked myself in the lab, Guru style. And because, when you go to the game, I don't feel like I am able to digest it in the way that I want to digest it. So, last night, by the time I got through my post game, my fifth quarter, and made it all the way home, it's 11 o'clock, and I'm not staying up to spend 3 hours. And so you get up early and you watch it. And watching the defense today, they just don't miss. And they don't make mistakes. There was one first down that New York got in the second half before that last garbage time drive, and it was a great play by the Giants, and they got, I have it here, 14 yards on a swing pass.
Oh.
And that's all you got, New
Can't
York.
have that. We cannot have that.
No, but
someone's got to get back in the lab and fix that.
And they did have, a couple of penalties. Diamador Lenore with the PI, which led to the touchdown that maybe for a brief moment gave you the thought of, Giants, maybe?
Well, it gave me, exactly. It gave me the thought of, I'm going to lose my bet. And then that thought went away.
Channeling my inner Mark Willard, there was never one point in that game where he thought the 49ers might lose.
That's true.
I know.
Was it not?
No.
You already said you felt that way too, right?
Yeah, so the Giants score. They don't get the 2 at 17-12, but it didn't feel like the momentum had shifted at all. Niners get it, and they go, they should have gone 75 yards for the touchdown, but that would be the only thing you could look at, I think, yesterday in terms of red zone. Yeah. The red zone efficiency was below par, but in general, I don't know what you would look at and say, that's got to change.
How about real quick the news? The news of the day is that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, they've got contract extensions. I know Kyle was through 2025 before the extension, so he's got to be gone through 2027, 28 at this point.
At least, yeah. So it means that it's not as catchy, but I'm still working on this. Guru, I'm going to your lab. I got to work on it. We've only had an hour to work on this, but it's not Super Bowl or bust. It's, all right, see if you guys like this. Super Bowl or try again next year. Or the year after that, 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 or the year after that. Is that catchy? Can we fit that on a T-shirt?
We'll stamp it.
I will try. We'll see if that'll be in the team store next week.
It lacks urgency, and I was saying earlier, there goes all the hot seat talk, because if they happen to go to, they lose to Dallas and they fall to 4-1. Shanahan's on the hot seat. Dude's got probably 5 more years.
But he had his team in the Super Bowl in 2019, so this is not new in regard to the success. They've been a bully for a while.
Yes, but I mean now, and it's not Super Bowl or bust. It's Super Bowl we must, and that's. I think I said that. I think I said that at the summit. I was fighting for my life at the summit. Shout out Fieldwork in San Ramon, but because Mark's right, if they don't win the Super Bowl, well, we'll get them again next year. And it looks like with the cap room and the QB on a rookie deal, you could be intact. And I was just watching the game back this morning. And I'm trying to put myself in Shanahan's shoes, and this dude is having the time of his life. You've got
shout out Sergio Dip.
You've got McCaffrey. It's like, what do I want to do with McCaffrey this play?
Right.
I'll put him in the slot. I'll put him in the H back, single back. You got Kittle. You put Debo as a running back, and you let McCaffrey go out wide. Every play, he's just coming up with new ways to use his toys.
And seeing it go ahead.
I was just going to say, and you know what, one thing maybe we haven't been talking about enough because of Kyle's play calling and, he can put this guy here, there. You can't do that unless you have a smart team.
Correct.
Like they have smart players, and there's no way he would be able to run this intricate stuff if McCaffrey were a dummy or Debo Samuel couldn't figure stuff out.
I would say not just a smart team, but this was actually a conversation that I became privy to yesterday. I can't throw out too many names, but let's just say a relationship with somebody, a relationship with somebody who spends a fair amount of time inside the 49er facility and locker room. Right. And I think that this will only confirm a perception we already have, but allow me to confirm it for everybody. This team is egoless. Absolutely, 100%, genuinely, from someone who's around them.
Lego my ego.
Egoless. Yes, egoless.
I gotcha.
You got me. And I know, right? It feels that way, but then sometimes you're like, well, that's just how they talk when they're in front of a microphone.
I believe it will.
And I think that is complimentary, Steiny, to what you're saying, because they don't care. They don't care who gets the ball.
Bosa, even though a lot of people thought it was a line, defended and talked about. I hear the hate in regard to the shade towards my quarterback, and that's real. Yeah. I believe that. And for you to say that, that's how this thing works.
They are there for each other. They are not worried about the numbers. They are singularly focused, common goal, all that stuff that you love to hear about a football team and sometimes feels cheeky or cliched. But when you talk about a team that is so star-laden, I don't think that's to be undersold. That's not an automatic that Brandon Ayuk in a contract year isn't going to be behind the scenes being like, I need the damn rock.
Yeah.
Especially at that position,
I got a contract.
where there have been plenty of dudes who have played it like that through the years. So I find that to be a huge key to this whole thing and very comforting.
Good example of both you and Steiny's point is Kyle Juszczyk, and I haven't checked the exact snap counts, but he didn't play nearly as much as he normally does. A lot more of the 12 personnel, 2 tight ends for reasons that only Kyle knows, and yet Juszczyk, he finally gets in there, he gets the 1 carry. Crowd goes wild. He runs to the sideline, and everyone's dapping him up and patting him on the back, and he's smiling and laughing, and that sort of selflessness. And to Steiny's point about the intellect, Juszczyk plays in many different ways. He goes in a lot of different motions, and he's out there just to block and grind. But if he plays 80% or 40% of the snaps, doesn't seem to matter.
They actually remind me of the Giants, the San Francisco Giants, their championship run, their locker room.
Not how many outs are there, San Francisco Giants?
But it's like,
Willard,
to me, Bosa, McCaffrey, Kittle, all the Niners, Posey, Crawford, Belt, Bumgarner, Kane. It's like the same. They're all grown-ups.
Yeah.
So
seeing it in person, the mastermind that Kyle is in regard to say, I'm going to draft Debo Samuel, and I have a vision of how I'm going to implement how we get him the ball. 3rd and 15, the luxury to just throw it to Debo and have guys act like they're allergic to tackling. The draft with Ayuk, there were other diamonds or more household names to me available, but he had a vision of Ayuk has it, and now they're just dogs. But the concepts of space like when I watch other NFL games, it's 3rd and 10, Kirk Cousins, Dak, they're going to drop back to pass, hope to hit the tight end, crossing route from the receiver. Kyle has this this other thing. Like, you can't put your finger on it, but it's like the vase. There's so many things that could crack you. McCaffrey. It's incredible right now, man, and it's unique and different.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM. In HD1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
Third down's kind of fun. It's actually kind of fun. And I don't mean the defense. I mean the offense. If it's 3rd and 3 or less, I'm kind of always like, okay, they're going to convert this, and I wonder how. Someone's going to end up out in the flat. And, unless somebody bounces off their hands or if Brock misses by a yard or whatever, maybe it won't convert. But you're kind of like, this is a very probable conversion. And if it's 3rd and 6 or more, I look at it more almost in a like quizzical way of, all right, what are you going to dial up? And sometimes it's oddly simplistic what then works. Like they converted that, was it 3rd and 14 or something like that?
And it was
just like
about the
3rd and
punt.
15.
Yeah, just like here, Christian, boop.
That was
and
3rd and 13.
And it just down the sideline and no one's there.
Debo was
just
3rd and 15.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
Incredible.
And Debo's tackle breaking last night was
just on display
at the highest level that it ever is. That play over the middle, I just don't even know. I don't even know what to say about that.
We had a caller say, the most natural, I'm paraphrasing, receivers IU. That's fine. What Debo does is so unique and different.
He's a party of one.
Together, they're the super friends. Yeah, it's incredible.
In the league, he's a party of one. And you know what? I was listening to you guys earlier, too. Someone called in and was just freaking out about the contact. And I was thinking to myself, I get it. Our fan base is very, very wounded based on the high-profile injuries that we've watched in recent years. And they are a physical team, even for football, and then have offensive players that seem to enjoy it. Kittle and Debo look for people to put their shoulder into. So I'm going to say, I understand the vibe, but it's also funny to me. We get through these wins, and people are like, we've got to stop the contact. This is it's just the NFL.
Yeah.
They're like, we've got to stop this idea of we can't let them get hit. They got to go play football.
Yes.
They are going to get hit every single time they put uniforms on.
Well, and Debo and Christian and Brandon
Kittle,
and George, really,
yes.
they're out there looking for contact. And the run you're talking about was right after the Giants scored. Debo gets 41 yards on the catch, and I had him breaking 3 tackles,
At
maybe
least.
4.
Yep.
And that might not count the guys that he juked. And the way he runs, he takes these little steps and he holds it so high, but he's impossible to tackle. You have to high-low him every time. He's so strong, his lower half, and he dragged those guys across midfield. And so any thought that, Giants within 5, maybe a 3 and out here, and he goes for 41 yards, and it's night-night.
Well, and I think when you also look at, can they come back, this is not really the moment to say anything against him, but when you watch Daniel Jones in a game like that, it sort of speaks to what I've been saying this week about him not being worthy of that contract. Man. I get that the Giants were in a spot, and so maybe they didn't feel like they had any other options, and I know they've got an out after next
40
year.
40 of them.
But, I mean, when you look at that, it's like, What are you paying the guy for? Are you paying him because that's your best option and you want to be viable? Or if you're going to start doing a $40 or $50 million a year deal for somebody, are you saying this guy can take me to the end? Because he can't. That's what he looks like when he's playing a really good team, and that's just not. It's just not viable. It's not good enough.
You may think I'm off my rocker.
Real quick, it's dead serious here. Vince Galvin has paid $50 for a super chat.
Oh, I've never seen that.
Yeah,
is that a record?
There's a number 1 next to it, so I think it's the highest paid for. So
biggest one I've ever seen.
Yeah, and Vince says the crossover's my favorite. All 4 guys joking around. But I had to make sure to get this in before 2, so Steiny had something to brag about. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it, Vince.
Oh, thank you, Vince.
Yeah.
Vince, thank you.
$50 for that.
And that's a little bit of a Roger Federer backhanded compliment for Steiny because he's implying that Steiny can't wait to get out of here at 2 o'clock. Yeah.
Where are the proceeds
for the people in the back?
We got
about to be
Jimmy,
204.
Jimmy Mole, Football Friday $5 fun fact. He paid $5. 49ers. Who's the 49ers leading scorer this year?
Oh, I would guess Jake Moody.
Moody, yeah.
Jake Moody.
Yeah.
Chalk one up for Kyle.
He's perfect after 3 games.
But I have to tell you, because I told you guys this last week, that stupid fantasy league that did its draft the first week of August, a group of friends of mine, it was way too early. And so this was before Moody had this wobbly preseason. So I was excited about him, and I'm like, hey, I think the 49ers are going to score a lot of points. This guy's supposed to have a big leg. I grabbed him in the last round when no one else is even thinking about him. So what this has turned into is my little carrot when the Niners don't do well in the red zone. I'm like, well, at least I get 3 or 4 points from Jake Moody. He's been perfect. He's been perfect this year.
This is to follow up on your Danny Dimes. And you guys can laugh at me. And I've told Steiny, I'm on record as saying this. I believe in sports, there's nothing more prestigious than when you have press releases that said coach, said GM, said players get an extension. To me, there's a proudness involved. It signals business is good. And I think the New York Giants wanted to trick themselves into thinking Daniel Jones was their guy so they could go through the press release and give Danny, I know you're spending chicken, but it was almost not a belief, it was hope. And now Helen Keller and Ray Charles can see that dude ain't worth that much.
Well, I mean, Dibs said this yesterday, and I think it's fair. Like, what was the other option? I agree with you, but I mean,
afraid of Dibs.
Yeah,
like they would pay money towards not having to deal with going to find a QB.
So you can't draft a guy because you were picking 20-something, and there really wasn't a good enough quarterback in this past year, and the guy did lead you to the playoffs, including a road playoff victory. So you're kind of stuck. Mike Silver today in the Chronicle with a funny line about 400 million dimes is what he gets paid. Danny Dimes. $40 million would be. So if you imagine what 400 million dimes is like, that's got to be like an entire bathtub.
I think if you don't,
or a hot tub.
if you don't pass for 200 yards, he should get that week's paycheck in dimes. Just dump it on the driveway. Here are 8 million dimes or whatever a game check is.
We put out and I saw like the video of the up close look on his face, and he's like his eyes are darting. And did you see his offensive line? Danny Dimes and the 5 turnstiles. I mean, he had no chance last night. So
Bosa didn't get blocked on his sack.
No, he got
a freebie.
He
got a freebie.
Javon Hargrave had one where he did like a juke step and like a shimmy.
He did
the John Sterling, and then he comes charging right in.
I mean, this is this great defensive line, though. Yes. Legitimately, the 49ers have a great defensive line.
New York went 3 and out 5 times on the ball game. Yeah.
I don't want to bring the party down, but I want to defend something that I've been tweeting my ass off. Fights are happening at every stadium. I saw one at the end of the game in our section, Dibs. No phone, nor did I try to break it up. Trying to be careful.
You don't have to do that.
But Dallas and the Jets had 5 fights. It's happening everywhere. My question to you all real quick here is why?
So that first one that happened early in the game was about 15 yards from me.
Oh, come on.
That's right where I was sitting.
Is that the one where the woman got her hair pulled by Richard Sherman?
Man.
Correct. So
not the real Richard Sherman.
I thought it because he was there last night. Yeah, so be careful. But I was immediately thought of you guys and this conversation because we had that hypothetical 3 days ago of what would you do if this happened in front of you, because everyone rips the people pulling out the phones. And Steiny, I was lockstep with you where I'm like, I'm not pulling out a phone, but I'm also not going over there to help. Okay. I'm not going to get in on this. And the next thing you know, we're at the game and 15 yards away from me, this is happening. And you watch, I saw 15 phones.
Oh, come on, man.
Just everyone's arms go up. And you're just like, I get it. It's not like we could even get over there if we tried. You're in a massive crowd. But like the desire to go over there, I'm like,
Dibs, why of course?
Absolutely not.
Of course?
Yeah, it's like a haunted house.
Why are you there? I'm asking, of course,
Of course with the phones, because that's what we do. We whip out our phone now for absolutely everything. I was with the lovely Supper, the missus, a few years ago at Stinson Beach, and we happened to catch some breaching whales. And we're sitting there, I go, hey, look, we got whales. They are breaching
That's awesome.
About 80 yards off the coast, and we're sitting there just enjoying it. People catch on, and now they're pulling out their phones to video it. It's like, put your phone down and enjoy nature, because when you record the fight last night. What are you doing? Are you going home and like, hey, look what I recorded?
No, you're
tonight.
tweeting it here.
And Nani said to be first. That's what they're doing.
I don't want to get this into a super serious realm. I do think there's something to be said for this. For example, I don't think the Black Lives Matter movement would exist without people pulling out phones in what feels like very inappropriate moments.
I'll give you that one.
A lot of people in this world needed to know that was actually happening. Because for years, it turned a blind eye to it.
Wow, Willard.
So this is not that.
Right.
However, if we're going to get to a point where there is something different to be done to prevent this from happening, maybe we do need this flood of social media video of this happening. Does that mean something different with security? Does it mean we're heading to a point where tailgating is not allowed or alcohol is not allowed? We'd all hate that. No one wants that, but too many of you are acting like complete idiots.
Women are getting dragged by men.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, man. This was it. Like the feeling, you guys want to know, 15 yards away, the feeling was not go help. It was total helplessness.
Oh, man.
And looking around for stadium personnel and wondering why it took so long
that's a whole
for them to get there and just feeling awful and totally helpless. That was actually how it felt. That's how it felt. And you know, leaving the game last night, I'm watching people who can't walk. I had a beer too. I had a Stella. Man. I had a $19 Stella last night. It was delicious.
Man.
Okay? And then I had it in the second quarter, and then we took a nice long walk to the car.
You ain't there to
and I was ready to drive home. There are so many people who couldn't even stand up.
Man,
it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
No one's doing that stuff sober.
Yeah. Our buddy Alex Deals golfed with him yesterday. He's like, I'm in 145. Come down and see me. So I go all the way down through his section. And as I'm going through there, I would have thought that I was at New Year's in Vegas or Mardi Gras.
What do you mean,
or a combination of the two. Everybody seemingly hammered. Everybody standing, crowding in the aisles. And the vibe was one of, I mean,
Animal House.
It's about to go down.
We were a push or a nudge away from F-U, no F-U, and the hands were going to fly.
You know what?
I'm really upset.
Luckily, I was rocking my purple shirt, so everyone thought that I was just out of place.
Right.
Before you go, real quick, this was one other thing that I want to make people aware of that was kind of a bummer. So all that happens, and at the end of the game, you got a New York Giants fan who's sitting right behind us. Actually, a really nice dude. Okay, but he's chirpy.
All right.
He's chirpy, but it was with a smile, and everybody in our section was super cool and
we're
like
all good.
Yeah, like we were able to function just fine. At the end of the game, he and a 49er fan about 5 rows back got into a just football trash talk.
Uh-oh.
Just like we're good, and then he's like, "You're waiting since the '90s for the Super Bowl, just like the
Tell me it doesn't
all of that
yeah.
stuff." No, it didn't go there.
Oh, okay.
The point is, though, and his girlfriend was sitting next to him, and she kept looking at all of us while he's doing it. She's like, it's fine. He's good. Don't worry. It's not going to go there. But that is something I want to make people aware of. Even when that's happening,
it's
the section around you is wondering, are we 40 seconds from somebody flying 3 rows down?
You're affecting our experience.
Tackling someone. It lands on us, and now we're in a situation. So I even wanted to turn around to those two gentlemen who are just having a conversation, but I'm like, this is making everybody very nervous because it's like, is this about to go down?
You affecting the experience.
Exactly.
Man, oh man. Well, yeah, I hate it. I just had to bring that up.
Let's bring it back to 30-12, and the 49ers are looking dynamite.
Apparently, that wasn't good enough for a lot of people too, though.
What's new?
Yeah.
What's new? Have a great weekend, everybody.
All right, Steiny, hit him straight.